VFX artists react to bad and great CGI. Number 39. New CGI one
Honestly,
came out.
2003.
I usually like the I usually am a bigger fan of the stuntmen reacts, but these ones are pretty good too. Sometimes.
Super impressive.
Killed him, dude.
So Andrew, is this an example of a good VFX shot or a bad VFX shot in your opinion here?
Thanks to Vessi for sponsoring this video. Stick around to see how you can save $25 off your first pair.
Hey, what's up, guys? We are back with another VFX Artist React episode, and we got Andrew Kramer joining us again for the second time. If you guys don't know who Andrew Kramer is, you've been living under a rock, especially if you're into VFX. He is...
I never understood when you call chat dumb. Now I understand this chat is so dense. Sometimes. Some people in the chat love being fucking annoying as shit.
the reason that I have a job, and he's the reason a lot of you guys might have a job too if you're super into VFX.
This is the 15th anniversary of Video Copilot, and we're excited about some of the new software development things that we've been working on. Just good to be here and hang out and check out some.
What is this?
Sometimes we just play Smash Brothers.
You can jump in with some clips.
Like something's up. Oh, she's like, something's up. Oh.
They don't quite have their HDR reflections down yet, but not bad, I guess.
Get that one. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Solid CG smoke there.
Andrew Kramer's a big guy, man. I don't know
Which
who that is.
cemetery greenlit this? Be like, yeah, you can just drive the car through a cemetery. It's like Grandpa's grave.
Like, it'd be an honor.
This guy's walking and they're tracking the skeleton onto him. There's not much to track there, and yet it's pretty good for a moving figure. So I wonder if he's walking and then does he just duck out of frame so they only have to clean plate a few frames after that?
I bet he's entirely from a different shot and rotoscoped and pasted in. You know the thing that stands out to me, and this is a huge challenge with like shiny reflective stuff that they did a really good
He's
job.
a VFX legend that taught an entire generation how to do it. That's awesome.
For when it was made. But look at how bright his sweater is before he dematerializes there. And look at how dark the reflection is on the top of the chrome head. Even there, once it goes more chrome, the reflection's still darker than his sweatshirt, implying that the shiny chrome is less reflective than his gray sweatshirt. It existed then, but it's just starting, which is high dynamic range imagery, basically having values above white and below black on your screen.
Yeah, HDRI was such an important feature of creating CG because it allowed you to store the values that would help create the realistic imagery of something that is actually lit with real light. It looks like they really did like a wire pull on the character. It looks like a real character, actually.
Yeah, it does. Because the motion blur is correct there.
Yeah.
The camera's tracking something, so.
Barely. And now it's like full CG.
Oh, comp tombstone. What's wrong with it? Why does it look a little eh?
One CG supervisor once told me, concrete doesn't bounce. It's so heavy, and so when you see concrete kind of bouncing, like maybe it feels like a little styrofoamy.
But it's like the colors of that thing too. Is it just like direct lighting or something on the shadows? Maybe it's the soft shadows on the grass.
That goes back to that high dynamic range thing. Look at the tombstone on the left. Look how bright the parts facing upwards are versus the parts in the front. And look how much less contrast you have in that tombstone facing us.
I think the problem is like when they do the CGI stuff, the reason why I don't like it as much as the stunt one is because well, first of all, the stunt shit is like super cool, right? But with the CGI, they get really nerdy. It's their wheelhouse completely, right? So because it's their wheelhouse, they get like too fucking nitpicky with it, It gets like
It's
real
still
technical,
populated
and
a
I'm like,
little
I
bit,
don't
but
care.
that
It
brightness
looks all
between
right.
The light hitting the top of the tombstone and the front of the tombstone is just not quite there. The classic composited explosion with no smoke. You even get the hint of like anamorphic lens flare in the beginning of the explosion too.
If you look closely,
My God, it's just like I wish more people were just honest about their like lack of knowledge in specific fields, especially on the internet. Like people love to portray themselves as much smarter than they actually are. I promise you, your media consumption does not make you more intelligent. Like you saying, I understand this is elementary, does not make you actually smarter, okay? You just sound like a fucking dumb, pretentious moron. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I openly admitted that I don't know what is going on here, and everyone's like, it's because you're a fucking two-head, you're too
Does
stupid.
it look like the tree is actually on fire? So I wonder if half of this explosion is real, and they've kind of added a secondary element to make it look more intense.
I would bet there's a little bit of a real explosion buried there under everything. You know, it's a big budget movie, it makes sense.
They just ran out of money for the tombstone budget.
Yeah.
2000.
We need a new vehicle.
All right, so a Street Fighter movie came out. None of you have probably ever heard of it.
What?
Sweet intro.
This is the climactic fight of the entire film, by the way.
2009, I never heard of it. Oh, God. Oh, that's...
Killed him, dude.
Okay, that's real
Just
bad.
wasted, man.
I don't want to get hit by that thing.
Anytime you're dealing with energy effects, you're trying to convey some kind of power.
That's some, like, Avatar The Last Airbender live-action film shit right there.
problem perhaps is that it looks very two-dimensional, right? So there's no volume to it, doesn't have form to it. So having volume would immediately give it some depth and space, right? But there's other things you might do, like having the light kind of flickering and, you know, looking like unstable, right? That might give it a sense of power. There actually is a little bit of distortion, but they're doing something which I always try to avoid, which is overlapping the image on top of itself. It's not a good idea to blur things like that because a camera would never create that effect. A camera would create like a heat distortion, like you see a jet near the horizon, you're gonna see this kind of distortion where the image is blurred. And then maybe even if...
Chad, I was testing you. That movie never existed, and some of you won the test, okay? There was never an Avatar The Last Airbender live-action movie, and some of you failed to pass that test. You acted like it did exist, when we all know it never did. Shut up.
Her performance was maybe interacting with the wave of the energy, so it felt like it was being, you know, generated. The impact, too, I would say, is you either want it to be explosive and create this huge shock wave that bursts the energy out. Maybe it runs through his whole body and the electricity, you know, goes around him. There needs to be an equal impact to the effect, and this feels like it does maybe the worst thing, which is it just sort of fades out. It's a pretty cool stunt. I mean, the fall is pretty cool, but it just needed something, a satisfying explosion. Like if the Death Star...
The Death Star just fades out?
At the end.
Oh, man.
I always found that energy effects are the toughest for me personally, just because there's not too much reference. I know there's reference, like you mentioned a few, like the jet distortion, the heat distortion and whatnot, but it's like you get this shot and it's like, well, what do I reference? People don't see this every day.
What would you reference for this?
I mean, whatever they reference, I wouldn't reference that.
Everybody out! Go!
Get down!
Okay. Okay.
All right, Andrew, your VFX supervisor, this is the shot that they just gave to you, and you have to give notes.
Okay, and I can't reshoot it. I just have to fix the VFX somehow. So first of all, that guy's dead.
Yeah, he's in the friggin' fire, dude.
I think the shot needs more.
Wouldn't you have to make the bomb smaller? Like, he's not even flying with the second impact. Like,
More warmer tones in it, and it should feel like the light source is more colored to
like
the fire. So
his
even though the fire's
flight
white,
pattern
it's
doesn't
really
change
like a
at all,
warm
dude.
color is just blown out. And if the fire's that bright and this close to us, I think he should be much more blown out and
No
more
shockwave.
kind of warm colored, and then maybe just more fire or sparks kind of coming underneath him to kind of make him feel like he's more inside of it.
Yeah, some foreground elements would be great. How do you feel about the roto job here?
If you pause it, you can see like some halo around the fingers and the arm and stuff like that. I've seen these similar halos in the movie Ghost. He's kind of got this aura around him.
It's amazing, Molly. The love inside.
Oh, so like intentional halos. It's crazy, like it sure looks nice. Like they spent the money on the sets, the actors. Just give your effects guy like a little more time. Hey, if you enjoy watching this show and you're not subscribed to the channel,
Just thinking,
if you did subscribe to the channel, so consider subscribing to Corridor Crew.
All right, Andrew, I think this is a
oh
clip that you
shit,
mentioned.
Bad
yeah, I
Boys.
stumbled upon this, you know, just thinking this whole car chase is all realistic, and then come to find out in the behind the scenes, like that shot of the car flying past the camera.
Wait. That's a CG car?
Yep, I shouldn't have said anything. I spoiled it. But go ahead and watch it.
This is some sick shit. Yup, it's about to get sicker.
Wait, do they show cool ones too?
So that had to be a CG car right there. It came over the camera. I wonder if it's a real element comped in. There's another one.
Yeah.
So anytime a car drives over the camera, we just assume it's CG.
Is anything close to that rolling car, basically?
So they would go film the real thing in kind of an extreme situation and try to match the weight of the suspension and the way that the car actually moves.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't an element. It was actually full CG. That's impressive.
That's
It's great
crazy,
that they shot
dude.
this for the VFX artists. Like, this shows like a professional crew that treats visual effects as part of the professional pipeline and not just an afterthought.
Dude, that's so cool. So well done. Perfect use of CG.
Yeah, I think the benefit of doing a side-by-side...
Whatever, bro. This is easy, actually. Forza Motorsport, dude. If you ever played Gran Turismo, it's basically the same thing. I could do that, bro. Also, it is top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 6-second ad break. Again, folks! You'd like to no longer see the ads. All you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5 or 2 cents an hour, according to how many hours I streamed last year. Or you can do it for free with a Twitch Prime. Here's the fucking ad. If you'd like to no longer see it, you can connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free Twitch Prime subscription. Here's the ad right now.
comparison is having that direct reference.
It's been an hour.
Just
Yeah,
so that
it's,
you are being able to look
it's
at
already
left
been
and
an
right, say,
hour.
oh, wait,
I know.
what's
Time
happening
flies
here?
when we're
And,
having fun, dude.
Honestly, 2003, this is super impressive.
Yeah.
It's Michael Bay, man. His stuff looks so good.
Yeah, I think Michael Bay likes to create very fantastic images, and even if that Ferrari is fake, we're still flying past a real car tumbling right towards a film camera. The shot is already fantastic, and then to say, okay, well look, it might save us a few bucks if we don't crash the Ferrari in every take. Maybe. Just
once again, it's a testament of good practical work. It creates the motion, it creates the cinematography. To drop a CG car in the corner, we're not looking for it. Because usually like the impossible moves would pull you out, like the car driving over the camera. That's so non-spectacular compared to what's happening here.
Yeah.
That it doesn't even trigger
Isn't that funny?
that response.
I mean, I totally think of Matrix Reloaded. You know, when Trinity turns around, goes backwards on traffic, the camera goes under the 18-wheeler, similar vibes. And also, too, in Baby Driver, when he does that backwards whoosh,
God,
around down the alley.
Baby Driver was such a good movie. Gotta fucking rewatch it, dude. I think I'm gonna rewatch that soon. Give that a rewatch. What a great fucking movie, dude.
It's like 2 CG trucks, you know? It's like you do the stunt and then you put the CG cars to make it seem way more dangerous.
pretty fun. Pretty fun.
This is a good scene. This is a really good find.
Overrated as shit. I think sound design is one of the most underappreciated, undervalued, underrated things in all fucking movies from a layman's point of view. And I love that shit. In video games too. I love it, dude. I don't know why. I really enjoy it. It really makes, and you know me, I'm not like exactly an audiophile or anything, but it is so fucking good. Yeah, Tenet is a great example of like why sound is incredibly important. Okay? Jacksepticeye wants to know your location. He loves sound design. I do too. And I think, what do you call it? Fucking Baby Driver was great at that. That's the whole... That was like the more revolutionary aspect of that entire movie was how the beats matched every part of the scene.
Please, pull over.
Oh,
Dang, right in the peen.
oh whoa. A lot of motion.
So Andrew, is this a example of a good VFX shot or a bad VFX shot in your opinion here?
I feel like it was one too many spins at the end here.
Yeah.
I feel like this is an example of they maybe just took it a little too far. It's a very ambitious shot. They have the technology and the skill. I would just say it's the physics for me that throws it off just enough that it kind of doesn't feel so real, even though they've done a lot right.
For me, it's like contrast, like right at this point right here. It's the blacks are too washed out, maybe, or the mid-tones are too washed out.
I think it could be part of it is the car paint shader. It's the difference between it looking kind of plasticky, you know, versus here where, see how shiny those highlights of the light are? They're specular because the car is very shiny. And now when we go to the next scene, the highlights aren't popping on the car paint like they were in the real one.
And you can see it's still reflecting like the spotlight on the ground, but then that zing that the car paint has.
But let's look at some of the things they did right. There's a lot to like about this. Look, the headlight goes off when it impacts on the wall.
I think they did a good job with the smoke.
Smoke looks nice. There's like a helicopter light kind of pointing down on it. And so you can actually see the shadow of the car in the helicopter light. Seeing the bodies kind of bounce around there. Maybe they're a little bright in there that it kind of stands out, but they didn't have to use a convertible. But the CG guy was like, no, it's all good. We do a convertible. We got the ragdoll simulation ready to go.
I actually really think the sparks are well done.
Yeah?
It's hard to do good CG sparks, but like they got the bloom right on the sparks.
I almost wonder if the sparks are real because they look so good.
They have a lot going on in this shot for being done in 2001. You have a person deforming the fence, you have the tires, you have the sparks, you have the chunks, you have the smoke, you have the lighting, you have the spotlight, you have the people, and all those things added together.
Still kind
you
of
need
looks
to have it all there for it to really
still kind of looks like
real.
shit.
I
I don't know why.
2001 is right when really well done CG was turning that corner. You had Lord of
Well,
the
I guess
Rings
it's old.
came out around that time. Star Wars Phantom Menace came out in '99, but so they were kind of refining their things. Like it was kind of getting to the point where everybody was starting to figure out, okay, these are the elements we need to make something look good. And you only see it in like really high-end movies, and even then, you know, it doesn't quite nail it, but like you got the level of detail and the awareness of all the different processes going on.
And to me, that is a big point. It's the awareness. Like there's a lot of ingenuity and cleverness that was put into this shot, from the way that the wheel falls off and the destruction of the scene around it. There's a lot of attention to detail. Actually, I noticed it looks like a pole has stuck through the engine and the car's dangling from its engine block.
Oh yeah.
I hate when that happens.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
I don't want to spoil it, but have you guys ever seen the movie Cliffhanger?
Oh, my engine block.
She dies?
Dang.
Rough.
It's one way to fall.
So I know we do a lot of movies, we do some TV shows and all that kind of stuff on here. I'd really like to do a VFX artist react to like fan films and indie films and cool projects done on YouTube, or it's just other indie filmmakers out there doing visual effects. I'd love to do an episode on that, so please.
I feel like that would be terrifying, dude. Imagine you're like an independent fucking VFX guy, and then you have like legit professionals just rip it apart. They're like, yeah, this fucking sucks dick. You're like, I spent 80 hours on this one sequence.
To recommend some shorts with really cool visual effects that are on YouTube in the comments below. Thank you.
Hey, I know what you're thinking. You might not.
What the fuck is this, dude? Okay. Here's the dumb.